Okay, Jamie. Just for the record, what's your full name?
Jamie Cullen,
Jamie Cohen. Where did you grow up?
Andover, Massachusetts.
How old are you?
I'm currently 23.
What is your current profession?
I'm in graduate school right now.
That was my second question. Are you in school right now? Um,
Yep.
do you consider yourself dedicated to running?
Yes.
What other marathons have you run in before?
So Boston this past year, 2017, was my first marathon.
Your first marathon was this year?
Yes.
Um, were you running in the Boston Marathon 2013?
I wasn't running. I was watching.
What were you doing April 14th, 2013, the day before the marathon?
The day before, it was a Sunday, and I believe because it's a long weekend, we had lacrosse practice that Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we did. It was either practice or the day off. I don't actually remember that much of what I was doing the day before. I know we had I think we had it off because we had a game on that Saturday. I played lacrosse at Tufts University. So we had a game that Saturday. I think we had Sunday off, so I might have been at home with my family, actually. And then, yeah.
How long have you been doing lacrosse for?
I've played lacrosse since I was in 6th grade.
Are you any good at it?
Yeah. I like to, I guess, say I was only as good as my team was. So in the 4 years I played, we didn't like last year we didn't make it as far as I wanted to, but I had a really great 4 years and loved everyone on my team and loved playing.
It's awesome. Did you personally know Martin Richard, Lindsay Lou, or Kristen Campbell, the three victims who died because of the attack?
I didn't personally know them, but Martin Richard was standing right next to a few of my teammates and me, and one of my friends on my team was talking with him throughout the day.
Oh my god. That's insane.
Yeah.
Where were you when the first bomb went off?
So when the first bomb went off, I was directly in front of the second backpack or the second bomb, right in front of what was the Forum restaurant.
When the first bomb went off, what did you do?
When the first one went off, I looked to my left because there was a huge explosion, and I said to my teammates, "We have to get out of here." And so we started kind of slowly jogging away in the other direction, away from the finish line.
How were you feeling, or what were you thinking, if you could even think at that point?
I was thinking this must be a terrorist attack in Boston. I thought about 9/11, and I had just seen a few of my friends run by who were running the last 2 miles of the marathon, so I thought everyone at the finish line is dead right now. Like, that explosion just killed. I can't believe this is happening.
Were you physically injured from either bombs?
Yeah, so then after a few seconds of us jogging away a little bit, the second bomb went off, which was a lot closer. And the shrapnel from that bomb hit the backs of my legs. And as the doctors described it, I had 40 to 50 gun-sized wounds in the back of my legs that were bleeding.
Do any particular images stick out to you from that moment?
From that moment, I didn't actually look back. So after the second bomb went off, I remember just looking around and people were so frantic, and as I started running away, I remember just seeing people in Boston not really reacting. Like, I don't know, I was so confused as to why not everyone else was running away. There were still runners in the marathon running towards the finish line, and I remember seeing this one guy dressed up in some weird costume, because some people just wear weird things when they run the marathon. And I remember seeing him and just thinking something crazy just happened. Like, how are you still in this costume and just running, trying to finish this marathon? Like, you need to get out of here. So that image just stuck in my head.
How close would you say you were to the second explosion?
So originally I was right in front of it. There was like a picture that went viral of a few of my teammates and Martin, Richard, and me standing right in front of it. But when it actually went off, I'd say I was a few feet away.
Did you, after the shrapnel hit your leg, did you continue running, or did you fall, or what happened?
Yeah, so I guess the energy from the explosion pushed me forward. I didn't fall completely to the ground, but I definitely was lurched forward. But I stayed on my feet. But I just remember the sound of it was so loud and my ears were ringing, and I couldn't hear anything for a few seconds. And it was all smoky, but once I started running, I feel like I got through it pretty quickly. But I do remember just people were trampled and on top of each other, and I was just I remember I jumped over something and just kept running.
Did you help anyone, or did you help any other people you saw on the ground?
So I didn't really turn back. I just kept running and saw that my legs were bleeding. So I must have been my fight or flight instinct. My instinct was just to get out of there. I mean, there are a ton of stories of other people helping, but there were two women that came out of a bar and helped me. They tied their sweatshirts around my legs to try and stop the bleeding, and they helped me get an ambulance.
Were you with your teammates at this time, or were you all split up?
We were all split up at this time. I couldn't find them.
How were you feeling at that time? Could you describe it, or?
Yeah, so I remember thinking that this was, I don't know, I remember looking back at my legs and just being so confused. I pretty much blacked out. But I called my dad and yelled, my legs are bleeding, my legs are bleeding. But because I was still running, I think I knew that I was okay. And I'm actually happy that I didn't look back at anything, because I'm sure it would have been crazy to see other people injured and all of that. But I just remember feeling like I needed to get out of Boston. I just felt so unsafe. I didn't know what these explosions were. I just knew that I wanted to get out of the city and get somewhere that was safe.
Were any of your teammates that you had been with, were they physically injured as well?
So one teammate that I was with also had shrapnel hit her leg, but she didn't need stitches, so it wasn't as bad. But one of my other teammates got a concussion from hitting her head. The whiplash from the ball, I think, caused head trauma for her. But I'd say everyone else, no one else really had any physical injuries, but definitely emotional trauma.
That's awful. I'm so sorry you had to go through that.
Yeah, it was pretty sucky.
Yeah, that's an understatement. But in the ambulance, did you get to the hospital? Did you pass out? What did the doctors tell you when you came to the hospital? Did you see other people in the hospital that were from the marathon?
So yeah, I remember first being relieved once I actually got in the ambulance, because I felt like I was actually going to go somewhere that was safe. And then once I got to the hospital, I remember seeing so many doctors and nurses and just staff waiting for people to arrive. And that kind of freaked me out. And I didn't actually see anyone else that was injured at the hospital. I was, I think, one of the only pediatric patients. So I was in the pediatric unit. So I didn't really see other people. They kind of isolated me, which was nice. And I had my own room. I first had to go to x-rays. And I remember that's when I actually got feeling back in my legs and started to feel how much they hurt. I think before that, my whole body was just kind of numb. But once I got there, I did the x-rays and then went into this own separate room in pediatrics where I was with the doctors, and they cleaned out my legs and gave me stitches, and they let my whole family in the room, which was really nice. So my family met me at the hospital. And then there were FBI agents coming in to ask me questions, and I had no idea what happened. They asked me, how many bombs are there? And I was like, I have no idea.
It's so scary. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry you even had to go through this.
Thank you, yeah.
How would you describe the race up until that point?
Describe, like, the marathon?
Yes. No, yes, the marathon, like the entire day before the bombing. How would you describe it? And then,
Before.
yeah.
Yeah, so I just remember it being this perfect day. Like, I feel like the weather it was like perfect running weather. My friends and I, after lacrosse practice, were so excited to go in and cheat on the runners. And even though I'd grown up in Boston my whole life, I had never um, been to the Boston Marathon. And I remember, like, texting my mom and telling her how awesome it was to be on Boylston Street. Um, and, yeah, so my friends and I, like, went out to get lunch in Davis Square and then took a tea, and we were just so excited. I feel like everyone was just in such high spirit.
And that obviously
And,
completely changed after the bombing.
right, yeah, the whole city it felt, I'm trying to think of a good word to describe how it felt during and after. I think I like completely lost my sense of security. I like felt so unsafe in this city that like I would never expect something like this to happen in Boston. I always have felt so safe in the city.
Do you particularly remember any faces or doctors or nurses that stuck out to you?
Yeah, so first of all, there's these two girls that came out to tie their sweatshirts around my legs, and they stayed with me. One of them came to the hospital with me, and then I still remember I still keep in touch with the doctor that I met that day. Do you want names, or I don't know?
No, it's fine. You don't have to give out names. But
Okay.
do you keep in touch with the women who helped you, or was that just a one-time thing and you don't think you'll ever see them again?
No, yeah, I keep in touch with like everyone I met that day. The women who helped me, and then also the doctors and other staff at Mass General Hospital.
Do you remember seeing either brothers, the Tarsaniev brothers, during the race?
I do not know. The only reason I know what they look like is from the pictures that came out after. And like there's a picture of Joe Tarsaniev, the brother for the second bomb, standing directly behind me. And then the only other reason I've seen him is I went to when the court case started, I went to see him in court because I wanted to just, I don't know, see him in person.
Did you keep up with the news, or did you watch the news in the hospital?
So I didn't watch the news in the hospital, but then that night, I feel like I was glued to the TV. I was watching it over and over again because I just wanted to understand what happened. And I feel like looking back, it might have been better to not watch the news, but I felt like I was kind of strong enough in that moment to be able to watch it, and it actually, I think, helped, clarify because my memory was pretty blank.
The next day, April 16th, 2013, when President Obama declared the bombing as an official terrorist attack, what were your thoughts?
I think I felt two things. One, I felt a huge sense of guilt because I felt so affected by this event, but when he declared a terrorist attack and after seeing all these different other victims who lost their legs and had gone through so much more, I almost felt like I didn't really have a right to be as affected as them, and that was really hard for me. And I also remember just thinking, I can't believe this happened, and I think I was really just angry I was really angry at these brothers for ruining this amazing day. I was just angry that people could, do something like this. And I think I was just confused. I remember my parents kept saying to me, I don't understand how you knew to run, or I don't understand how you are still alive. And I think hearing those words over and over again, I don't know, I was just so confused as to why, I had the instincts to just start running, or why, I ended up standing right there instead of somewhere else. It was just hard to kind of put the pieces together and figure out why something like this would happen.
Going back to the medical procedure with the shrapnel in your leg, what exactly had happened? Were you given stitches? How long were you in the hospital for? Do you still have to go through treatment now?
Yeah, so first I got to the hospital, and like I said, we did the x-rays because they wanted to make sure there was nothing really, like, embedded too deep. Um, and then, so, I mean, they didn't really describe exactly what they were doing. I mean, they said they were cleaning out my legs, and then I think I had to get 3 stitches in one of my legs and 4 in the other. So it wasn't that many stitches, but they had to, like, wrap my legs in gauze so that they would heal. So I had, like, these bandages. My calves were covered in bandages. And I still remember, like, my dad took a picture of my legs, and I remember looking at it and just never wanting to see that again, so I made him delete it. But then I couldn't play lacrosse really the rest of that season because of the stitches and because of the physical injuries. And then eventually they healed, and I had scars in the back of my legs for another, like, 2 years. And I remember at one point I went to see a dermatologist to see if I could get, like, laser treatment to get rid of them, but I ultimately decided I didn't want to because I wanted to just keep them and see how they would heal on their own. Now you can't really see. I'm looking at my legs right now. You can't really see anything. There's, like, a few scars you can see, but they're really minimal. So yeah, I haven't had to go through any more treatment or anything like that.
Okay. Directly after, were you informed of people you personally knew being seriously injured at the bombing, like, not including your teammates or anything like that? But I mean, including your teammates. Do you remember, like, were there family members or friends that you also knew were there that were injured?
I don't think I know anyone else that was physically injured. I mean, I saw the stories on the news. I remember there was one woman who was standing next to me during the marathon, and I remember I kept, like, looking back because my sister was on her way to come meet me, so I kept turning my head to see if she was where I was yet, and then